Welcome back to another video. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Today we're working on my wife's 2007 Toyota Prius. All right, so this is my wife's 2007 Toyota Prius. It's honestly been one of the most low maintenance vehicles I've ever owned, which is awesome because we got high maintenance GT500 back there and extra high maintenance Ram 3500 back there. But so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna show you what we're doing. Super basic stuff, doing an oil change. That's really not what this video is about. Don't really care. It's a new little gasket because the oil plug gasket on the original one is a little bad. We'll get to that. But main thing we're doing is shocks, and all the shocks in this vehicle are struts, which means they have a spring integrated into them. So we're gonna go ahead and replace them. Let me show you what this looks like real quick. So these are the new ones. I went with Monroe OE off of rockauto. I think total it was like 70 bucks for all the parts, which is not bad. Maybe a little more than that. I can't quite remember, something around there. It was not bad though. You can get ones that already have the spring done if you don't want to deal with compressing springs. I don't really care about compressing springs. I went ahead and rented a spring compressor, which is the only special tool we'll need for this I'm aware of. So I'll show you how that works when the time comes. And then we have our struts. So these go in the front, these are the rear. And ideally you want to check these when your vehicle starts bouncing around a bunch on the road, you get rough ride, irregular tire wear, and you start getting blown around with the wind. Generally it's points to shocks and struts having problems, or in this case, struts and struts. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car up. We're gonna take off the front wheels, and then I'll show you what's going on and we'll get it figured out. All right, so I used 13/16 to get these lug nuts off. I'm pretty sure that comes out to a 21 millimeter, but it is what it is. Obviously you can see all the salt and crap in here. I'm giving this thing a wash afterwards because I hate that. Anyway, looks like our sway bar feels, don't look like it has too much play, but this is the strut on the front and that's just coming off. So in the engine bay, there's a couple bolts we'll get off in a minute. Down on this side though, it seems pretty simple. Looks like we have this little bolt right here, and that should take off the little bracket that's holding our brake line and wheel speed sensor. We have two bolts right here, and then the bolt that goes to our sway bar end link. Now the only thing, on the back side of here, usually there's something that you can grab to keep this from rotating. This one actually has an indent, probably for a hex, actually exactly what it is. That's a Allen key indent. So we're gonna hold that to keep this whole thing from rotating because there's basically a ball on the other side that'll let this whole thing rotate together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these off. I'm gonna put I'll let you know what the sizes are when we get it off, I guess. But let's find out real quick and get going. All right, so this bracket bolt is a 12 millimeter. Get that guy out of here. All right, so that's free now. All right, so for this sway bar end link, take a little wire brush and it helps to really get this crap out of here to clean up the threads a wee bit. They're pretty pitted looking at it. All right, so we got a 7/32 Allen key right in here. That'll fit in right there. And we have a 17 millimeter wrench for right here. So that's gonna be a glorious turd to get out. Let's see if we can get this broken loose and then get it out. All right, so we got a 19 millimeter for these two guys, and I'm gonna use a breaker bar on one side to hold it, and then we'll just go ahead and wrench them off. So these two should come off pretty easily, and that should release the strut from the lower half of this. All right, so this is released now, should be good to go. This is where things start to get kind of stupid, so check it out. The bolts on top are located right here. So that's gonna be super fun. Let me see what size they are, and I have a ratcheting long wrench right here. Probably, let's guess 13, let's see how close we are. Nope, they're probably a 10. Let's see, there's a 12. Oh, I lied there, 12. Sweet. So that's gonna suck. I'm pretty much gonna work my way for all 3 of those, try and get those off, and then we should be able to release our strut. Struts out, and as you can see, we have the spring here that needs to get compressed, which we're going to use the spring compressor for in a minute. The next thing we got to do is get this thing off. So this little cap is rubber, and we just pop it out of the way. That should, yep, there it is. That'll reveal our nut on top. Find out what size that is in a minute. This is our new one. Got the new guy here, and we should be good. These are left and right oriented, so it looks like I have the wrong one out based on how these guys are oriented. You'll see these are not the same. So let me pull out the other box, and then we'll go to start swapping stuff over. All right, got it off. So we have our bump stop, which we need to work off a little bit more. In hindsight, I should have ordered the whole assembly. That was a mistake on my part. If you're doing this, I would highly suggest ordering the whole assembly, because I didn't even think about the strut mount, which is this guy. And it's not the end of the world. It's usable, but it's not ideal. So I would prefer to replace this guy. There's a little bit of a catch somewhere where it looks like some bearing wear in here. So that kind of blows. I would highlight just getting a new one. But anyway, continue onwards, because I need to put this thing back together today. I don't have a choice, unfortunately. I'm gonna reuse it for now. If it causes a problem, I'll go ahead and replace it. But yeah, probably a lot easier just to go ahead and get the whole assembly, because you're gonna get a new bump stop, you're gonna get a new boot like this, you're gonna get a whole bunch of, the whole thing's probably worth, it's about $100 from RockAuto per piece. Yeah, should have done that. But here we are, so let's go ahead and continue onwards. I'm gonna finish working this thing off. It's kind of being a turd. And looks like I got some stuff stuck in here. Once we get that off though, we'll transfer it over to our new one, get those together. Not sure what that was about. It basically looks like it absorbed the boot that goes around here and got inside of there and just bound it all up, so I couldn't get this thing off. But that's good now. So I'm not entirely sure how these things work. I'm pretty sure you just untwist and these things should pop out to their full length. So let's find that out real quick and make sure we have the right side going on here. So we have this one, and this is not the right one. We want this one. So bracketry are all in the same spot. That's what we want. All right, so I went ahead and put some new grease around the base of this sandwich guy right here. So it does have protection, so it's not like just out in the open. And spinning it, I don't feel anything grabbing here, although the bearing might be a little bit worn, but it feels pretty good. So we should be fine. I do regret not getting a new boot, but once again, I don't really have the ability to do that at the moment because the car's down. So it doesn't matter. If you guys are doing this, just take note of my mistakes, basically. So this feels good. I went ahead and tossed some grease in here to keep everything happy long term. And then we'll just stick our cap back on. Should be good. I reused the OE nut because I think it looks a little bit, or it should work a little bit better as an nylon thread seal, whereas this one really doesn't. So it doesn't really have anything to keep it stuck. So did that, hit it with the impact down pretty hard until its bottom one was starting to spin. And the way this is all forced together is, remember, it's If this nut were to come off, basically nothing would happen. Like eventually something might happen if you had a big enough hole to bounce yourself off the ground and have something like that. But as it stands, it would probably be fine. So just make sure it's tight and it's good. And I feel like mine's pretty tight. So we're gonna go get these guys off and then stick it back in the car, put everything back together. If you're curious on torque spec for these, I have no way of getting a torque wrench in there, so for me it doesn't really matter. I'm going until pretty dang tight. So now we just gotta put these guys back together. It's actually a pretty straightforward process. I'm just gonna go ahead and time lapse this, and yeah, we should be good. I am gonna look up the torque spec for these guys because these kind of matter. The rest of these, not quite as much. All right, just some Googling real quick. So looks like the top bolt that's in the center, that's currently has the cap on it. That one is 37 foot-pounds. The 3 bolts that go around it, sorry, the center bolt is 35 foot-pounds. 3 bolts that go around it. So these guys that go around it are 37. The 2 bottom ones are 177. The center is 35, and then that's about it. So quick Google showed me the answers, but I feel like pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get my torque wrench out for these bottom 2 because those are the real important ones, and then we should be good. While you're at it, it's a good time to do a tire rotation because I'm also doing an oil change, so I just moved ahead and did an X pattern. So these are going there, this side's going to that side. I'm gonna go and do the other side. The only challenge I see is I'm probably gonna have to move this bracket potentially to get in here. I was looking at it, you can remove the cowl, it looks like, but you have to pull the wipers off, and then you can move the cowl out of the way, and there's a crossbar that you can also remove. It's probably the service manual way to do it. I don't wanna do that, so I'm gonna continue the way I'm doing it. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop on this side next. It looks identical to the other side, so I'm just gonna do that in my own time, and then we'll meet back with you guys in the rear. All right, I got the front end on this side, pretty much the exact same, nothing too crazy. The only irritating thing on this side, so I popped this clip out, it looks like it broke, but I had to get that out of the way so I could get in here, and then I used a long pair of pliers to set and unset the bolts in the back. So not ideal by any means, but it worked, so that's good there. Next, go ahead, let's hop on the back side now. So I'm gonna change the oil real quick in the front. Not gonna do that on camera, it doesn't really matter, it's super easy. And then we'll get to the back. All right, so to do the rear ones, hold the front up in the air. I'm gonna leave it on a jack, I don't really care, it'll be fine. I'm working out the side, so if it falls, it falls. I'm confident it'll be fine. Anyway, so obviously we have 1 bolt right here. That's the easy part. This is your whole assembly, and then it goes up into right there. Well, that would be all fine and dandy, except you gotta actually get to right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and essentially disassemble some of this, take everything out. And I've done this once or twice before. It has been a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking stuff out of here and see. I'm pretty sure these side panels are what's gonna have to come out to be able to expose what we need to get to. Looking at location, well, it's gonna be right there. So let's go ahead and hop at it. All right, so I've had this apart before, so I was able to get it apart so quickly. I'm gonna do one side at a time so I can get this over here and then flip that back when I need to. There's one pin that needs to come out right there. Yeah, so I was about to hop in here, and there's a great tutorial. Look up how to clean out the fan back here. Good time to do it if you're going to do it anyway. But yeah, that'll show you how to take this whole back area apart. Chris fixes the video on how to replace the battery. It'll also show you how to take it apart. I'm not going to deal with that right now. So on mine, we have 2 bolts right here, and then we have 1 on the other side. I'm going to use a swivel socket, and I'm going to remove it that way because I was about to take that bracket off and I realized there's more bolts on the back side, and on the back side over there by the seat. I'm not going that deep, that's too much. So I'm just going to use a swivel socket, and we'll see if we can't get these guys off, and yeah, see if we can't get it out. So I'm going to meet up with you guys when we get it out, I guess. Maybe time lapse, who knows, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. All right, so if they're 14 millimeter, they're coming out. You can see that nut right there. There's a 17, that one stays there, looks like it's welded. Got another one right next to it. On the other side, if you don't have, sorry about the sun. If you don't have a magnet, I suggest getting one. It helps out tremendously with this particular area. And then the one on this side comes at the bottom over here. It's just all, they're all 14 millimeter. Oop. So yeah, starting a little separation. Now I just gotta get that nut off. You should be good. On a side note of things, notice my muffler looks like it's probably blown out a little bit. So I noticed this car's been getting a little louder than normal. Probably have to get a new exhaust system on here at some point because she's pretty shot. But it is what it is. I'm gonna keep working and get this thing out for now. Yeah, this is all, looks like it's welded into one piece. So we just gotta take off that outer nut. All right, so we got our rear strut assembly out. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did in the front, compress the spring and pull it out. This is our new one, this is the old one. So we gotta convert all this stuff over just like we did a minute ago. These are not side specific from what I can tell, so that's cool. But yeah, so we gotta pull this nut off. This one's nice enough to have a little hex key in the top. It is a 6 millimeter. That'll fit in there nicely, and this is a 17 millimeter. So I'm gonna put it in the vice grips so I can get this down and flip you guys time lapse. All I'm gonna do, get this started because I think it might be easier with a little spring tension. Then we're gonna clamp the spring down, pop everything off, put it on the new one, and put it back in the car. So yeah, here we go. All right, so new one's back together. Let's go ahead and stick it back on its place and then do the other side. Should be done. All right, just give it a quick wash, get all that salt and crap off. We've been traveling with this car quite a bit recently. But there you have it. So I wanted to went for a test drive as well. Feels pretty good. Do need to get an alignment on it. The steering wheel's not quite straight. And that'll happen whenever you mess with suspension components like this. But it is what it is. So just the power washer going off. But yeah, all in all, not too bad of a job. Took me a couple hours and should be it. I don't think we have anything else going on crazy with the Prius. I might need to do exhaust. That actually might be a little crazy. Again, on and off check engine light for the catalytic converter inefficiency. And I found a weld, as you saw in the muffler, cracked. And it's a manifold slash header. It actually looks pretty good flowing manifold. There's a clamp there, and then it's nothing until the very back. So it's all, the middle section's all one piece. So I might have to pick up an exhaust system or something in the near future. Nothing aftermarket, like in terms of sound, but just, you know, to kind of keep it quiet and nice. Good daily driver for the wife, and we use it occasionally for trips, good on gas. So it is what it is. But pretty much gonna do it on my Prius stuff. And if we want to do the exhaust, I'll make a video of that in the future. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. And if you did, please leave a like and comment down below if you have any questions. If I messed up anything, which is probably likely, let me know. I didn't hear any clicking or clacking going over bumps and stuff, indicating that the strut mounts would have been worn out. So yeah, I do wish I had gotten new ones, but like I said, it is what it is. I need this thing back on the road. I can use it for tomorrow. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.